Mr. Rose is a detective who knows the genre is ending and carries on anyway. William Mervyn plays him with wit, camp, precision, and impeccable manners, refusing urgency, psychology, or reinvention. This isn't a series about chasing relevance. It's about professionalism after purpose. What happens when a form keeps going, not because it believes in the future, but because it still believes in how the job should be done? That sense of lateness isn't accidental. It's built into the series, and it's built into the central performance. William Mervyn's Mr. Rose is not played as a man in decline. He's played as a man who has decided not to acknowledge that decline. The wit is constant, the delivery is precise, the manner is knowingly camp, not flamboyant for attention, but theatrical in a way that belongs to an older moral and social world. Rose doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't rush. He doesn't compete. He performs professionalism as a form of style. Because Mr. Rose is not really interested in crime as spectacle or danger. The cases matter, but they are never treated as crises that demand urgency or emotional escalation. Instead, they function as occasions, frameworks in which Rose can operate according to a set of values that no longer dominate the genre. The crimes are solved, but that resolution feels almost incidental. What the series is actually about is conduct. Rose is unfailingly polite, articulate, and controlled. He listens carefully. He speaks deliberately. His intelligence is social rather than forensic. He understands people, rooms, and situations, and he navigates them with an assurance that comes from long habit rather than innovation. This is not a detective trying to prove himself. It's a detective who assumes the job still deserves to be done properly, even if fewer people are watching. The campness of the performance is crucial here. It's easy to mistake it for light relief, or to see it as a softening of the material, but in Mr. Rose, camp functions as insulation. It's a way of maintaining authority without aggression, of asserting presence without force. Rose doesn't dominate scenes through power, he dominates them through style. That style is quietly defiant. At a time when television crime drama is beginning to favour grit, urgency, and psychological inwardness, Rose offers clarity, wit, and outward control. He is not tormented. He does not brood. He does not invite the viewer into his private life. Instead, he performs a version of professionalism that assumes distance is not a flaw, but a virtue. This places Mr. Rose in an unusual position within the detective genre. It is not transitional in the way later series would be, and it is not foundational in the way earlier ones were. It exists after certainty has faded, but before anxiety has fully taken its place. There is no sense here that the genre needs reinventing. There is only the assumption that it should continue to behave well. That assumption gives the series its distinctive tone. Episodes unfold at a measured pace. Dialogue carries more weight than action. Scenes are structured around conversation rather than pursuit. Tension arises from social pressure and moral implication, not from threat. Rose is rarely in danger. What he risks instead is irrelevance. But the series never frames that risk as tragic. There is no self-pity here, no lament for a disappearing world. Mr. Rose doesn't mourn itself, it simply proceeds, impeccably mannered, as though the future were none of its concern. That's where the wit becomes sharpest. Mervyn plays Rose as a man acutely aware of how he appears, and entirely unconcerned by it. The raised eyebrow, the measured pause, the perfectly timed line delivery. These are not attempts to ingratiate, they are assertions of identity. Rose knows who he is. He knows how he works, and he refuses to behave otherwise. In this sense, Mr. Rose is less about detection than about endurance, about what it means to continue performing a role with care when the cultural conditions that once supported it are slipping away. The series does not pretend that its methods are future-facing. It doesn't argue for their superiority. It simply demonstrates them, calmly, repeatedly, and without apology. That restraint is what makes the programme feel so distinctive now. Modern detective television often frames professionalism as a burden. Characters are weighed down by procedure, damaged by responsibility, or driven to transgress in order to remain effective. Mr. Rose offers a different vision. Here, professionalism is not oppressive, it is sustaining. Rose is not constrained by its code, he is stabilised by it. The elegance, the wit, the camp theatricality, all of it serves to keep chaos at bay. This is a man who believes that conduct matters even when outcomes are uncertain. That belief is never tested by grand moral dilemmas or catastrophic failure. Instead, it is tested quietly, episode by episode, as the genre around him begins to change. And the series' refusal to dramatise that change is precisely what makes it revealing. Mr. Rose doesn't mark an ending. It doesn't announce a turning point. It simply occupies a moment where a particular way of being a detective is still possible, just before it becomes untenable. What follows in television crime drama is faster, darker, and more inward-looking. Authority fragments, certainty dissolves, style gives way to urgency. Mr. Rose stands just before that shift, holding its line. Not defiantly, not nostalgically, but with immaculate manners, impeccable timing, and a raised eyebrow that suggests the future can do what it likes. Rose will continue as he always has. And that, in the end, is what makes the series worth revisiting, not as a curiosity, but as a record of a genre choosing dignity over reinvention and performance over panic. Thank you very much. I do appreciate you listening. If you want something else along those lines, I've got several detective shows. You can try this one. I will be back another time with another show. Bye.